so hard it hurts. To feel it touch so hard it burns. Isn't something you could learn, it's natural. And I might not feel that for you, but someday you'll find someone who sees you in a crowded room, sensational. Every time I dream of you, I see. It's the kind of thing that you can't unsee. I'm sorry. Every time I dream of you, I see. It's the kind of thing that you can't unsee. I'm sorry.
Then we're gonna keep it up. But yeah, no. So a lot of last second work, kind of get this going. Oh, all good. Just got word that I could not be heard, but we just did introductions. You know who we are. We're talking about the Masters reveal show. So we have a couple teams, at least more than two. So that's good.
We have
It'll be a
three.
three-team tournament. No, I'm kidding. But
Best out of
before we-
45.
yes, there we go. 12 weeks long. No, but seriously, that we do have 10 teams within the tournament. And Bully, would you like to kind of walk us through how playoffs is going to work at the end of our season?
Sure. Well, we have 10 teams, which means that we'll have 6 teams after a best out of 3 single round robin. You'll play all 9 teams. The 6 teams that'll make the playoffs, the top 2 seeds, will get a first round bye. And obviously, you'll have 3 versus 6, and then 4 versus 5, and it's pretty simple after that. Basically, I'm looking forward to it mainly because the rank average for the accepted teams is basically so close to the cap. We should have really good competition.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anything anyone would like to add before we kind of start talking about these teams within the league now? Or
Yeah,
we
half
good
of
to
these
just hop right into it?
players are actually super good, and they're already started climbing. We already gave them the go ahead to start climbing because we kind of held them hostage for 2 weeks. It actually affected our ability to accept, keep
couple of
accepted
teams, yeah.
teams. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they were getting to the point where it's like we don't want to be like, nope, that's our money, but
Mhm.
instead we just give it
Mhm.
them the refund and decided just to go with the 10-team league. It's back to our roots. We used to host a lot of 10-team leagues.
Yeah, and here we are back with it in Masters, though. So we're excited. This is our highest cap that we've ever had within Blue Otter League. So, but without further ado, let's talk about the first team, right? So
Yeah.
the first team that we will be discussing, it is the Church of Champagne, with Vess up in the top lane, Rice Farmer Tony, Glacial Emperor, Razor Leaf, Copper, Tiny C, 5 seconds, Vino, and Young Mashu. And then there's another name there that I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna be honest with you. Billy, you can give it a crack if you'd like, but
I'm not going to try that. Nope.
I don't even know if it's a word. It's like
Yeah.
Chiffins, and we're gonna stop there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not gonna say. Yeah. So Church of Champagne. What are our thoughts on this roster?
Good players.
Yeah. For the most part, it seems like a really good roster. There are some players that are on the lower end of the rank scale, but we've also seen players sit
Mhm.
that ended the Masters last season, of course. So like, I feel like it should be fine as long as they can stick to their
Mhm.
carries and keep keep their high ranked players in the carry role.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have a lot of players, so I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of like swap ups of who's
Mhm.
gonna be starting or what.
Mhm.
But I'm interested to see what their solidified five will be, and then we'll be able to kind of figure out what this team is made of.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the next team note that we will be discussing, and it is Dorado Gaming Key with Fireflange, Riddy, Shima, Joker, Cute Anime Boy,
Kai,
Beta, Kai. Did I say what did I say? Key? Kai, sorry.
Key.
I
no,
thought I said
I
Key.
think it's a
Yeah,
key. You
yeah,
said key.
yeah.
Key.
Sorry, Kai. My apologies. Data, Carino, Youngwan, Hazim, and Kibbles.
Well,
So,
we've all kind of seen Dorado around the scene.
Mhm.
They've kind of dominated the plat scene in several diamond leagues as well, whether it be like CCS, Aegis. We've kind of and we've seen Riddy, who's kind of just been a staple in BOL Diamond slash Masters for the past 2 seasons.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see what direction this roster goes. There's also a few names that I haven't seen play before. I know that Joker's one that I recognize, but I haven't ever seen them play. So I'm kind of excited to see what they can do.
All right, fair enough. The next one we will be introducing it is EVO Shade with Stored, Without Truth, Be Healthy, One Spring Leaf, and Nabos. I believe this is one of the more recent additions within the league. So, have you gotten a chance to kind of take a look at them on paper at all yet?
So one thing that, first of all, I don't want to say this is a concern, but just in general, actually, never mind. They do have subs. Yeah, they have three Masters players right now.
Mhm.
So they have three Masters, one Diamond, one Diamond three. Something I do or am interested in is the mid laner Be Healthy. Mostly because they play a lot of Jace, and it feels like they play on the top lane. So
Oh,
I wonder if what's gonna happen with that, because they're mostly play mid champions, but every time they play Jace, it's usually in the top lane.
okay. So we'll
Sometimes
see if they can transition it to the mid lane if they want to pull it out.
maybe that's like, so what I actually might be is that they go mid top, and if they get
Mhm.
top lane, they just play Jace all the time.
Maybe, yeah.
But it becomes
Oh,
their most played champion, so I'm guessing they get their second role a lot.
yeah, yeah. All right, well, let's introduce the next team that will be within the league. It is Go Next Gaming with B-Way Bennett up in the top lane, Overrate, General Ziliana, Benhart Vance, and Radius. Billy, taking a look at Go Next Gaming and how they stack up currently within the league. What are your thoughts on this?
I remember over eight. I'm trying to remember what team it was off the top of my head.
It was
They made a really
GBC,
deep. Yeah, it was
Catboy Click.
Goth Boy Click. Yeah, I remember they made a really good run in playoffs, and I feel like I don't remember. I want to say he was a big part of that run, if I remember correctly. This was last
Yeah,
season,
yeah,
so.
he was definitely the like best or the second best jungle. I
Mhm.
don't think, actually, I think he was the best, but he was. They made a change. Like Godport Click made a change in their jungle like after like week 1 or week 2, and you can see
Mhm.
the difference he made. And that's kind of what I mean, he was like probably close to the cap, if not.
Mhm.
He was a cap exception, right?
Yeah, he
But
was cap exception,
yeah,
but
so yeah.
so I'm excited to see what he does with the roster, like where he's coming in for a full season. See what he can do with that sort of roster, and see if he can like kind of keep up that sort of performance. I don't recognize a whole lot of the other players on this roster, just due to some unfamiliarity with some of their names. So, but I still have high hopes for this roster, like no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I think
All right.
I just want to see what they can do.
Okay, fair enough. The next team that we're going to introduce, it is Lit Esports Blue. With JJ, I think that's a Ayuna in the top lane, Ruko, Scorpio, Bubs, Bang, Kimchi on Rice, and VT Wolf. Fully taking a look at Lit Esports Blue and their roster. How confident do you feel with this team heading into game one?
Well, one thing mostly about the org itself, the esports, I know they have like a NACL like qualifying roster,
Mm-hmm.
and they look really solid right now. And I'm not sure what the coaching staff is like, but right now on paper this team is like filthy strong. And they not only they love playing the game. First of all, they have hundreds of game each this season. They played a ton last season, so they are itching to always get better. And if that's the case and they are scrimming, then this team will keep on getting better as the season goes on. And I think some of these other teams we've seen in the past where some teams get kind of lazy and they're doing well early in the season and then eventually they just fall off because they're not improving. They're just staying stagnant. But I don't think this is going to be the case for this team.
All right, fair enough. And we've talked about the first half of the teams. We're going to throw it to a 30-minute break, and when we're back, we're going to talk about the second half.
Jesus.
No, just kidding. The next team we are going to bring up, it is Mortals. Not to be confused with another team name, but it is Mortals this time around with a phenomenal logo, I might add. We couldn't use their original logo that they submitted, but let's talk about the roster here. We have Fluoride, we have Scorcher Blaze, we have Shitbug, Toxic Gerbil, Flea Pain, L9 Burger King, and Nami Kitten.
All
Bully.
I have to say is right now
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of names I like on this roster already.
What's your
This is my
favorite?
favorite. I mean, you can't go wrong with Shitbug, Flea Pain, like any of them. Like
Mhm.
they have some A1 names right now.
What about
Yeah.
Fluoride?
Fluoride is always good.
It's like spelled wrong, but it's alright.
What about
It's
L9
like
Burger King?
Fluoride. That's a good one, actually.
What
I
about
like that
Yep.
one.
L9 Wendy's?
Oh, there you go. You got a whole team now of fast food restaurants.
Dang, this team looks so good on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. If you want to keep, go ahead and
Nah.
expand upon that.
I was gonna
Okay,
say
never
like
mind.
just in general. Well, I think L9 Burger King actually changed names, so I'm very sad.
Mhm.
But
I
yeah, they already have like multiple players that finished Masters last season. I believe Fluoride. That's just, like when we originally looked at them, they were like gym very early on in the season, like 200 LP. Like
Now they're
still
Masters.
200. Yeah, they're Masters 200 LP still.
Yeah.
So like they're definitely grinding, and like they have 4 players that are in Masters already this season. So it's definitely a roster to keep an eye on.
All right, yeah, we'll see how they do within the tournament. The next team that we're going to bring up and talk about, it is OE Clown Car. And on that roster, oh boy, let me sit up and actually take a look at these names. We have Laughable Cargo, Jabber Jabber 3, Kelsey's number 1 simp, Olveric, and it's ACU. Billy, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, it's nice to see Olvar making the jump up here. He was someone that we've seen play with Titan Gaming.
Didn't he get a rank out? He did.
Yeah, he
right?
ranked out last season in
from
our
Platinum.
Plat League. So it's nice to see them moving up to the Masters Cap League. Jabber's another name I recognize. I believe they're on Shining Light. Protectors, I want to say is that
Yeah,
team's name.
Shining Light Protectors. I mean, Shining Light
So-
Protectors, they didn't do so hot. Well, they barely missed playoffs. That's what it was.
Yeah, they barely missed playoffs.
Mhm.
I
So
think Jabber Jabber was one of the solid
he was
players on
one
that
of the
roster.
yeah he was one of the highlights on that team, even if they weren't performing as well. So like just seeing what those two can do, along with the new cast alongside them. I'm excited to see. Like I said earlier, I'm excited to see Ulvarix, see what they do now that they moved up a tier. But outside of that, it's kind of just see what the other names are ready to show and prove in this league.
All right. Let's talk about the next team that will be joining the league. It is none other than RAR Shadow Z. The return of them, who I believe were on paper doing really well last season until they fell in playoffs.
Yeah, I honestly think it was kind of like what happened, what I said earlier, where some teams just get lazy, and
Yeah,
they get they I mean that team was like perfect, right? They didn't
yeah,
lose like
they
a
were
series.
destroying people.
I think they
Yeah.
did it like they lost one game, and I think it's the
Mhm.
one game they trolled because Signify went like Vi support, even though he does do that in solo queue, but it was just completely trolled that game, and
Yeah.
they lost that game, but they still won the series, and then eventually in playoffs they lost to who was it?
CB, I want to say.
No, CB. Yeah, it was CB, right?
Yeah, because Hypnotic was on the other side of the bracket, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah. So they lost to CB. That CB team won, but that
Mhm.
CB team was like kind of like epitome of a team that got better. It
Yeah.
was looking
Mhm.
shaky at the beginning, but hopefully this time around, our Shadows with a slightly different roster. It's
Mhm.
kind of different. They take everything more serious. Especially because I do think the just skill is a lot higher this season.
Yeah, and before we talk about the roster, something I wanted to touch on is when you're at the top of the standings, it's hard to figure out what your issues are when you lose in games, right? It's really easy to diagnose what these problems are, but when you're constantly winning, constantly beating everyone, you make it to playoffs, everyone's been adjusting and making these changes, and your team really hasn't had that opportunity to do that. So I just think that was part of the case. Unfortunately, with Raw Shadow last season, hopefully they're able to bounce back this season and give it a good run. But without further ado, up in the top lane, Virginity Haver 36, Nothing But Wisp, Goat BM, LFT Different, and Signify. Anything further on RAR, or should we go next?
We should go next.
All right, up next.
It's okay.
It
Quest is a
is.
manager, or coach, or whatever. There we go, Quest.
There we go. Shout out in chat. Up next, it is SDC Death Card coming into the league with Revnon, Jim Cantor, Redman 3,
Oh, that is the jungle.
Zeranos Lull, and Fierce Blade. Billy, what are your thoughts on this team?
I'll be honest with you, I don't I recognize Jim Cantor. He's been someone that I've heard legends of in Risen, but I haven't really ever seen them play. He's obviously someone to keep an eye on. I know that their captain has been super excited to get started with this league and seems very confident that their team will do well. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to see if they're able to keep that as the season goes on, or how that will turn out for them, and see what they end up bringing to the table.
I mean, they're a solid group of players.
Mhm.
I think the only other person I recognize is Reynos. I don't know where, but I've seen that name before.
Okay. And I believe we have one more team to introduce after much deliberation and a $74 PayPal bribe. The last team that we have added is TA Fear. That's obviously a joke. It was 80, but the roster is Buddha, Ash and Light, Alistair, and Dinosaur Chainsaw, according to what I have. Feel free to update me if I missed someone.
You know what's absolutely insane? This is just something I saw. Like I mentioned, we gave the ability for people to climb after 226. So 226, Alistair was Masters 134 LP. Literally like a week later, they went up to 345. They're back down to 306, but like that
Hey,
was
they're getting there.
one hell of a climb for that time.
Yeah.
But Alistair is definitely someone we saw in that Lotus team that won a couple seasons ago. So we kind of distinguish them as one of the best ADCs in the league during that time, and I don't think this season will be any different. Just I don't think we've seen the other players be and play in. Oh, did we see Ashenlay before?
I don't think so.
I've seen them in other leagues, but not here.
Yeah.
I think this like TA Fear team is a little bit more different. It's just yeah. I think they would usually played in other leagues, so pretty much our first time seeing everyone else besides Alistair.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our 10 teams that we have revealed within the Master season this season. Again, playing a 9-week tournament, heading into the top 6 teams making playoffs, with the top 2 on a round 1 bye. The rosters will be up relatively soon. The schedule
like,
already
the next
has
hour or two.
perfect. The schedule for week 1 has been updated already. The upcoming weeks will be added. We have to add a couple extra weeks to it because it's not your typical season length. But with that, best of luck in your upcoming games. Thank you all for coming out.
Yeah. It's by the way, it's
Any-
under Diamond. We'll update
Yes,
that.
that'll up. Actually, I'm updating that live right now.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. But yeah, so we're super excited to have everyone. Thank you all for coming out. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and see you back tomorrow evening.